Howdy folks, Timber Drifter here. Absolutely gorgeous evening. Got a big storm rolling in, so it's been just totally still and quiet for hours. It's the hottest day of the year so far. And there's so much moisture in the air that the sun was just a perfect red sphere in the sky. I could look right at it. It wasn't bright at all. Usually I only see that when there's a haze from a forest fire. But I don't smell any smoke and I haven't heard anything about a fire, so I tend to think it's just the moisture in the air. Mosquitoes are starting to come out a little bit the last couple of days. Got one bite in the hand that I'm holding the phone with right now. But the turtles are laying eggs right now, and a lot of them like to lay eggs in the sand on the side of the road. And this one's not laying eggs. Little snapping turtle. At least it's not laying eggs yet. Pretty young for that, I think. But the ducks are everywhere. Swans, tundra swans, and sandhill cranes. A lot of time at this little flowage here. This time of year and a little earlier, you'll see the tundra swans out there with their big white butts and rubbery yellow feet up in the air feeding. The deer changing from their winter silvery gray coats to their summertime kind of burnt red looking coats. So they're all patchy and they all look like they have mange right now. But in another week they'll all be red. Canada geese all over the place with their little fluffy yellow goslings. Been doing a lot of fishing. Doing pretty good. Catching bluegill and pumpkin seed. Got several of them gutted and scaled. Fry them up for dinner tonight. Little haunted bookshop in the Cobb. Saw a bobcat crossing the road a few minutes ago. I'm usually driving home from work right around dark. I tend to like to wait till it's dark. It's easier for me to see the deer. But with the overcast sky, it's still pretty bright out right now. So I wasn't too worried about not being able to see them. Usually this time of night, it's pretty hard to pick out the deer in their gray coats next to the roadside. You know, sometimes they make bad decisions and run across the road right in front of a car. A lot easier to see them in the headlights. Had a bear around my place last week. It's a younger male. Real built up in the chest and front legs and a little skinny butt on him. That's how I know he's a male. The females tend to be heavier in the back end and a little bit lighter in the front. He's been hanging out. Seen him pretty close to my house and on my trail, and seen his tracks and even smelled him one morning. I didn't see him, I just caught a whiff of that kind of musky zoo animal kind of smell that bears have. Been pretty close to him twice at night, walking my trail from where I park back to my house. Seen his eyes in my headlamp that I wear, and heard him walk off. And then twice I've seen him in the daytime, and he doesn't really run away from me, which makes me nervous because I'm used to black bears running away as soon as they know there's a person around. But he also isn't acting aggressive at all. So we'll just kind of see how this plays out. I don't have a bunch of food hanging out outside. I don't feed animals at my place. But if he's willing to behave himself, I'll behave myself. And as long as everyone remains polite, should be all right. It's not uncommon for me to see bears at my place. I usually see at least twice a year I see a bear in my yard. They're around a lot more than that. You're just 99% of the time you don't see them. They're kind of like ghosts. But it's just that wonderful time of year. It's a lovely thing to drive down these beautiful back roads, arm hanging out the window, listen to the radio. Perfect temperature. Still. Everything's either budded out or budding out. People racing by on their motorcycles. Enjoying a lovely evening. I'd imagine it's a beautiful thing to ride a motorcycle on a day like this. Well, the way things are right now, with all the ducks around and all the wild greens coming up everywhere, all the fish biting, guy could keep himself fed pretty well with a .22 rifle and a fishing rod and a canoe and a bag to gather greens in. But of course that's not totally legal. Can't hunt ducks this time of year. But I can fish, and I will be having fish and wild greens, fiddlehead ferns for dinner. So, alright, I'm going to continue driving home. Y'all take care. Hope you can get outside.